Hey everybody, it's Buck. Get your helmets on, get your seatbelts on. You're about to enter Buck's brain. Okay, so everybody knows daylight savings time officially ended a couple days ago. I don't know why we do it. In fact, anything that we started like in the 1700s, or if it was considered the 1700s, probably should be reconsidered. But it's okay. We've been doing it for 1,000 years or something, and supposedly it's supposed to help people out. So whatever. But point is, November comes around. We're supposed to get this extra hour of sleep. Yay, yay, yay! The night before, everybody's like, "Yay, I get to stay up a little bit later, watch a little bit more TV, or go back out to the restaurant or whatever you're doing at 11 o'clock that makes you feel like you can stay out later." Anyway, so that's all well and good. And the next morning you wake up and you're like, "Yes, I got an extra hour of sleep. That was so awesome." When in reality, all we really need to do, if we wanted an extra hour of sleep, is to go to bed a little earlier. But whatever. Hey, it's just a mind game. It makes us feel good, and it's kind of cool out. You get to cozy up in the blankets a little longer. Well, that's well and good if you get that extra hour of sleep. So there's two creatures in this world I've discovered that do not understand daylight savings time. And the first creature is what's called a baby. Now, if you've never had kids or if you have a baby right now, you completely understand what I'm saying. They don't care what time of the day it is. They're going to cry, they're going to make noise, they want you to come get them. So you think you got an extra hour of sleep? Wrong. 6 a.m., they want to be fed. They don't really care if your clock is actually changed to another time. So, yeah, tough luck, parents. And just to let you know, if you still have a baby and you think, "Oh, I can't wait until they're older," no, it never ends. You're going to be 85 years old, and your kid's still going to wake you up. And yeah, just get used to it. In fact, if you're a parent right now, just don't sleep anymore. Just give it up. The next creature is called a dog. Now, see, this is exactly what happened to me. My dogs didn't care that I got an extra hour of sleep. It was time to wake up. But this is what's weird about the dog. The dogs didn't really need anything. They just wanted me up. They just wanted me sitting on the couch making coffee or watching the sports show or whatever I do. It's on Sunday morning at 6 a.m. when I should be in bed. But it's cool. They're dogs. They love me. And what are you supposed to do? Tell them to go back to bed? They don't care. They don't have a clock or they didn't listen to Ben Franklin when he made this ridiculous rule, or Congress that refuses to change it, whatever. And it makes me think about God in certain ways. Because can you imagine if God would need 8 hours of sleep like us, and we had to wake him up every day to say, "Hey God, check it out. I'm in need. My car broke down, or my kid's sick, or I need some help making some financial decision." And God's like, "Look, bro, I'm on Eastern time, and you're on Western time. I need to sleep a little bit longer, or however that works. Or, hey, I had a late night last night, Buck. I'm sorry about that. Let me get a couple hours of sleep and I'll text you later." What if God puts like a do not disturb on his phone, and he sleeps in one day? He's like, "You know what? I had a real hard Monday. A lot of things going on." In fact, there's even a story in the Bible where Jesus was sleeping on a boat. And I love that story because, it's the story where Jesus calms the storm and he's dead asleep on the boat. He's tired. He eats a lot of sleep. And I got to hand it to you. Sleeping on those boats, I mean, man, Jesus must have been really tired or really used to sleeping in really horrible conditions. And when I was in the Army, I had the benefit of sleeping on rocks and sand and hoods of trucks and poles and things of that nature. So, hey, I get it. But good for Jesus, getting his rest in so he can go the next day and preach an awesome sermon. But the disciples, the part of, being on the boat, somebody had to stay awake, and that's probably a good idea. But anyhow, they wake him up, and Jesus calms the storm. But do you remember what he says to them? He didn't say, "Guys, I'm tired." He didn't say, "Hey, y'all, tonight was my night to sleep," or "My watch isn't for a couple hours." He said, "Where's your faith?" In other words, he's saying, no matter what I'm doing in front of you, I still am in control. So just because we don't see God out and alert and moving mountains and healing the sick right in front of us, it's not like he's upstairs sleeping. He's not taking a day nap. He didn't take, some medication that makes him drowsy. It's like, "Oh, do not do miracles while it's drowsy time." No, that's not how it works. God is always awake. God is always ready to act on our behalf, no matter what's going on in the world, no matter how many miracles he performed, no matter how many times he sat there and answered the same prayer for us over and over. How many times have you prayed to God the same prayer? And God, how many times have God come back to you and said, enough is enough, dog. Come on, bro. It's 2 a.m. I'm tired of you waking me up. I'm tired of you, you're just having a nightmare. Leave me alone. I've already answered that question for you once. And going back to the kids, if you have kids, maybe older toddlers, all the way up to the age of probably like 25, they'll wake you up in the middle of the night for some crazy stuff. Oh, I think there's a spider in my room. No, honey, that's a piece of string. It's cool. Or, hey, I heard a noise downstairs. Actually, that's more like my wife. I heard a noise downstairs. You go downstairs. No, honey, that's just the air conditioner kicking on. Can you imagine if God was that cranky with you at night when you can't sleep and you're worried about something? Or what about if when you're at work and your kids call or your wife calls, or you're at school and somebody disturbs you during a test, and it's natural to say, this is my time. I can't, I can't be disturbed right now. Can you imagine if God's like, hey, check this out. Over here in India, there's a famine. I'm really working on that. I'm sorry that, you blew your tire out, and it's really bad that you made a awful decision in the house you bought and the air conditioning keeps going out, but I'm a little busy. Let me get back to you in a little bit, because I'm working on somebody else's case. I mean, that's just not the God we serve and love. That's not the God that the creator of the world and the one that died on the cross. Jesus himself gave himself as a sacrifice. He offered himself as a sacrifice so that we may have life and live it to the fullest. And I want to read this scripture verse for you. Comes from Romans chapter 10, verse 13. It says, everyone who calls on the name of the Lord will be saved. And I absolutely believe that. I believe that the only reason that God is sleeping in our eyes, that God is not aware of what's going on with us, is because we're quiet. We act like I don't know if I'm supposed to be asking God these questions. When you were a kid, sometimes you were worried that, it's 6:30 in the morning, it's Saturday. Mom and Dad said, please let me sleep. And you can't get the cartoons on. Remember those old days when we had knobs on the TVs? Some of y'all don't know that. Nowadays, it's stuff like, the remote battery's broken or the dish is in the line. And you're so scared to walk in there. But God's saying, forget all that. Do not worry about my reaction. I want you to call on my name. I want you to wake me up in the middle of the night. I want you to knock on my door while I'm getting dressed. I want you to tell me, I need you, Jesus. Today's the day that I can't live without you. He's waiting for that. He's not distracted. He's not angered that you're sitting around pestering him over and over and over. That's in your mind, not his. And back to the dog thing, I just want to throw this out there. If you do have dogs and they do wake you up in the middle of or they don't wake you up, I should say, do me a favor, text me or something. Let me know how they sleep in, because my dogs are like the best alarm clock. Like, I don't know, 6:30, I think it's about the right time. One starts barking, they all start barking. But strange as though my kids, they could sleep right through it. I mean, it's just ridiculous. Here I am, or my wife, it's 6:30 in the morning on a Saturday, and it's like, can somebody else just pet the dog? Or, give him a bowl of food or let him out to use the restroom? I mean, this is ridiculous. And I want every now and again to wake up after the sun is up. Maybe that's too much to ask. I mean, I did get the dogs myself, so, whatever. And I want to leave you with this thought. I know that Buck's Brain's not supposed to be political. Coming up is, we call it an election. There's a lot of weirdness going on. A lot of people are, let's just say it's not a fun time to have a political opinion. All I can say is that there is one king, and his name is Jesus. And that was established well before America, well before England, well before the, Magellan or the Egyptian Empire. God has been the king since day one. Let us not, as Christians, get so concerned about who's in the White House that it detracts us from unity in our love for each other. Whatever happens in the coming days happens. Let's pray about it, and let's be as best we can on our best manners, and do our best to remember that these things are very personal, and sometimes they get a little bit edgy. And maybe somebody's just cranky. I don't know. Maybe they're like me. Maybe they were going to sleep in and they're like, oh, geez, here we go. But you get what I'm saying. I don't like politics. They're scary things. Remember, we're all Christians. We all love each other. We have more in common than less. And politics should be the last thing in our mind when we see somebody. All right, that's it. You can take your seatbelts off. You can clean your glasses off now. The Buck's Brain mud is over. You're out of the black hole. Go about your day. God bless you. We'll see you next time.